You're used to looking at all the different ways that you can make the most of your upcoming retirement. You want to optimize. That's why you're watching this video, and that's why I'm sure you watch a lot of videos like this one. But I'm sure you haven't maybe thought about one of the ways to add a little bit of optimization to your retirement is what time of the year to retire, or what month in the year to retire, and does it actually make a difference? Well, that's why I'm here today. I want to convince you that I think it actually does. Not one of those things that's really going to hugely drive the needle, but it is a tiny optimization that you can make to make the most of your retirement, or at least it's something to think through, as retiring is one of the biggest decisions you're ever going to make. Hopefully, you're only going to do it once. So you want to make sure that you nail it, you get it right. So today I want to walk you through why I think that the time of the year you retire does require a little bit of thought, as it can make a little bit of a difference in your retirement. And if you are like a lot of the families that I'm working with or have worked with in the past, I ask them, when do you want to retire? They say yesterday. You know, most of the time it's as soon as possible. So that might be you, and so you might not be really looking to optimize the month or the time of year you want to retire, but I still would encourage you, stick through. I think there are some compelling points here just to at least consider when going to retire. Some of the points I'm going to walk through today are financial in nature, so I think there is some validity to thinking through, hey, am I gonna do this or that, because it will actually make a difference on my financial picture. And then some of the points I'm going to walk through are non-financial in nature, so not necessarily going to affect your bottom line, your net worth, your success in retirement as far as from a financial standpoint, but it will affect your quote-unquote success in retirement, in your retirement being fulfilling, being flourishing. So very important as well, I believe. And I actually want to start with some of those non-financial points. And as I've said in videos before, retirement is a huge adjustment. You've worked your entire life, built habits around working, and that for a lot of people that has become your identity. And so now you're having to make this big shift to not working, not getting that social interaction. So it can make a lot of sense for the beginning of your retirement to be a bit of a rest period, to be a time to ease into this new season of life, make those new habits, a time to give yourself a lot of grace as you are learning and growing and adjusting to the newness. And when thinking about that, as far as is there a better time of year to retire, think about that rest period being during the summertime, or that rest period being during the winter. What time of year do you want to be taking that R&R? If you retire in April, right before summertime, you'll have those summer months to refresh and recharge. So if you're someone who likes to be outside, that can be really great for you. Or if you're a bit more of an introverted person who likes to be inside, maybe it doesn't matter as much if it's during the summer, during the winter time. Or if you're someone who loves to ski, maybe it makes sense to begin retirement around November or December, so you can get a full ski season in to kickstart your retirement, get your R&R that way. So think about that as far as what your goals are, what you're into, because I do think it's really important for you to have that time to adjust to retirement, and it could be fairly strategic to want to do that at the right time. Again, of course, if your goal is just as soon as possible, maybe not be as pertinent, but I do think that is important to think through. And if you are going to be retiring in the wintertime, it can be a really great idea to go ahead and get a vacation on the books, or a couple of vacations, so that you can get down into the sunshine, the warmth, if that is very important to you. And I feel like regardless of if that is something that's important to you, I mean, there is a big piece of the puzzle that our environment does affect our mood. So getting outside, getting into nature, getting into the sunshine can have a big impact on you, your mental faculty, as you are processing and resting, engaging in the new season. So just something to think about as you're positioning yourself for that next season of life. And like I was saying, if you're wanting to structure your retirement start to coincide with what you enjoy with summertime, or the wintertime, if you're a ski bum, you want to hit the slopes, well, think about, you only have so many summers left, or so many ski seasons or winters left. So, I mean, it really is important to have one more of those where you have all of the time you possibly can in retirement. So it's important to maximize those, to have as many summers as possible, as many winters as possible. So you just want to make sure that you're seizing that time of the year that's the most important to you, because you are only going to have so many of those left. Okay, so that's the non-financial side of things. On the financial side of things, retiring in the beginning of the year versus the end of the year can be an optimization piece, because if you are stopping working at the beginning of the year, you're only going to have a little bit of income to report for taxes that year. Whereas if you wait till retire towards the end of the year, you're almost going to have a full year's of wages that are going to be reported as taxes. So retiring sooner into the year just gives you more flexibility with doing different tax planning pieces to kickstart your retirement. Things like Roth conversions and tax gain harvesting can be more on the table for that first year of retirement if you retire sooner into the year. Again, just a little optimization and something to be thinking through. And another thing that can move the needle for you in that last year of working before you go to retire is if you're going to retire somewhere towards the beginning or the middle of the year, you can actually adjust your 401k contributions so that you can go ahead and max out your 401k for the year instead of just contributing however much of a percentage you were contributing that would have gone through the whole year. So you can adjust that, I guess, sort of bunch it into those couple of months. You can max out that 401k. So that's one piece of the puzzle. And then two, that's also going to drop your taxable income for that year, providing even more of a cushion or more flexibility to do those advantageous tax planning pieces we were just talking about. Additionally, other things to be thinking through, healthcare is going to be a big thing you need to be planning for. It can be fairly expensive. So one option you're going to have is Cobra, so extending out that health coverage from your work that lasts 18 months. So that's a piece that you can be thinking through as far as timing when you're going to retire. Maybe that can stretch out into 65. You also may want to be working later into the year to make sure that you're getting bonuses or that you're working long enough to get an increased or full pension amount as well, if that's something that you're getting through your job. So it's just some other smaller financial pieces, and those ones I'm sure you're already thinking about, but those are things to be aware of with determining what time of the year to be retiring. So again, this is just a fun exercise. It's a smaller optimization piece to help you have a great and fulfilling retirement. It's not going to be one of those big things that really drives the needle with your lifetime tax savings or investment strategy, withdrawal strategy, not those types of things that are big needle movers, but hey, this is something I think that it's worth thinking through. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you are someone who does need some encouragement, some help talking through some of those bigger retirement planning pieces, like how am I going to make my investments turn into income? Do I need to be doing Roth conversions? Am I being a good steward with the wealth that God is giving me? If you're asking those questions, I'd be happy to hop on a call. We offer a free retirement planning session. You can schedule that using the link below. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. See you guys next week. Take care.